I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and whoo. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, set it up. Bet you I shut it down. Watch out, get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner. Got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm a line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins. Yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits. Yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on the road, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a move to the downside. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy told me, or he was saying in chat, oh, man, I wish Frank did some BTCTA yesterday. Maybe he would have warned us about that. I think I sent a little bit of sarcasm there, Moon Poop Boy, because we did do that TA. Shout out to you, bro. But, guys, Bitcoin is getting a move down. Should you be worried? Should you be selling your Bitcoin? Was that ETF Was that ETF a sell the news event as we were looking at last night on the live stream? Are we going to see some more downside? And if so, where are we looking for that bounce? Are we going to bounce from here? What is going on with Bitcoin? We're going to break it all down in today's live stream. Guys, I'm going to keep the housekeeping super short here. Shout out to the CandleMafia and a special shout out to the pattern watchers dropping by and hanging out with the Mafia. Shout out to Traders Reality in the chat. Tino, my dude, shout out to you guys. Some of the best people in this space, guys. Shout out to the pattern watchers and Mafia. Drop those Traders Reality emojis if you have the Frankie Candles memberships. But guys, Bitcoin's getting to move, so let's just go ahead and dive right on into the charts and see what the heck this thing is going to do next. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart, which, by the way, guys, Bitcoin did rebrand as Chainlink. I don't know what made them choose this name. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Let's jump into the actual Bitcoin chart, and here we are, as we are getting a little bit of a move to the downside. And if you guys watched the live stream yesterday, look at those Traders Reality emojis in the chat. Shout out to the pattern watchers. And shout out to Tino for rating us, man. I really appreciate that. And I know everybody just came in with the Tino sauce, and now we're going to give them that Mafia sauce, and it's going to combine into some kind of super knowledge. So you guys are ready for that next Bitcoin move. But as you guys know, yesterday we were covering the rejection from this very key level, which was obviously the golden pocket. We talked about the ETF news being a potential sell the news event, and we even went back in time taking a look at some very, very similar big news events that we've gotten in crypto that have basically marked macro tops or significant tops, right? Not that when you get this bullish news, we typically dump down to zero, but we were kind of taking specifically on the higher time frames, taking a look at some of the other, major news events that we've seen back in 2017 during the blow off top. We saw the CME Bitcoin futures get approved. That marked not only a significant top, but the top of that parabolic 2017 bull market before a big correction into the bear market of 2018. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting this to happen, but we also took a look at some other events such as let me go ahead and unhide some of these. Such as here back in 2021, we had the ProShares Beto Futures ETF released right at that second top, right before the all-time high, and then obviously that was the top of the bull market, and we wound up coming down into the bear. And then also right here on this top, we also had the backed earn and spend program released, which also marked a significant top. And then we also talked about the 2019 bear market rally, which I am considering a very, very similar part of the market that we are in right now. Because when we look at the markets in a cyclical fashion, right, or a cyclical manner, you guys can see, right, we dropped from the all-time high of 2017 into the bear market of 2018, and then we got that 2019 fake-out bull market into the macro golden pocket. When you pull that golden pocket from the all-time high to the low, we got that bear market rally into the golden pocket in 2019, and actually here as well, we got, I believe what the narrative on this pump was MasterCard and Visa accepting crypto payments or something like that. And that also marked a macro top. And we essentially just extrapolated or kind of compared, we didn't really extrapolate, but we kind of just compared these big events marking significant tops in the market to the Bitcoin ETF getting released and hitting our macro golden pocket just like we did in 2019 right here. So are we going to see something similar happen where we're going to get a big correction to the downside? Now, obviously, the March 2020 dump was a black swan, so maybe it's not going to be that aggressive, but we're going to talk about what I would be expecting. But first, I want to cover the local areas of support that we need to be keeping our eye on, and then we'll talk about how ugly this could potentially get and what we are going to be expecting coming up in the near future. And don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Forgot to say that in the beginning of the stream. Smash that like button if you want Bitcoin to stop dumping. But, guys, as we take a look at the local price action here, you can see, obviously, beautiful rejection on that golden pocket value area high. As you know, on this channel, guys, I am a big proponent of the volume profiles, and it is for good reason, right? Simply because it works. Now, this is not the only way that you could do TA, obviously, but we have this work out pretty well for us in the past, and you can see, typically when you flip above that value area low, you look to come to the POC of the range, and then once you flip that POC, you look to come to the high, where you can expect some rejections, and on top of that macro golden pocket at this level, we also had the value area high, the range, making it not only an unlikely target, not only making it a very likely target for price to hit, but also a very likely price or level for price to reject from, which is exactly what we are seeing. Now, looking at more of the local kind of analysis here, guys, obviously, let me go ahead and pull up some of our key levels of support as well as our volume profiles, etc. And there are some things I want to take a look at here. Now, obviously, we can look at this kind of local volume profile, which gives us these 3 key levels. And yesterday, we were talking about how, we were kind of moving up. We actually did have some things on the chart. Shout out to Darren Does Things, was pointing out the fact that we had some trigger waves on the 4-hour time frame, which did wind up getting kind of just flipped on. You could see we printed that green dot, which gave us a little move to the upside, and then we just got the VWAP flop. That VWAP just rolled right back over, giving us a red dot, which made us anticipate this move to the downside. Now, with that being said, I was not very interested in too many trades within this little local range, as Bitcoin was kind of just sitting there super boring. I was actually more interested in a bigger move to the downside to look for longs, or a bigger move to the upside to look for shorts. And to be quite honest with you guys, honestly, like my beautiful scenario, what I would have liked to happen, which is still not out of the question just yet, but really what I would have liked was to get a bigger move to the upside to look up to some of these next key levels of resistance above, to look to build up a new short position. But we did just get a little bit of a drop to the downside, which seems like a gigantic move just because Bitcoin's been so boring. But nothing really too crazy has happened here, right? We're still above $40,000. But also, if you guys watch the show, you will know that there are some key levels below that we've been looking at, not only for a bounce, but looking at it as a very good or a very big point of interest, making it very likely for price to come visit these levels for some very specific reasons. And it has everything to do with the liquidation heat maps. And let me just pull this up really quickly, and we'll take a look at that heat map right now. So as you guys know, just below us here, we do actually have some key levels of support. Now, these are naked daily points of control, and typically when you come down to these levels, not only can they act as magnets for price, but they can also act as strong levels of support. So just while we're waiting for these heat maps to load up here, I will say, guys, the next major level of support that I would be looking at if we do wind up continuing down, which may not be impossible. Next significant level of support I'm going to be looking at is this zone that we looked at yesterday between the 2 naked points of control, sitting at 39.6 and 38.775. Just simply giving the information here. And I do want to bring up the liquidation heat map because there is some really interesting confluence, right? Between 39.6 and 38.7. Not only do we have those naked points of control, but we can also see. Let me go ahead and run this chart here. And as we can see here, down here at about 39,500, 39,600, in that same exact area that we were just looking at on the trading view chart, where we have those naked points of control, we also have a bunch of liquidation sitting. Now, just like those naked points of control that act as a magnet as well as strong support, we could kind of think as these liquidation levels, not necessarily as a strong level of support, but we can look at this as a magnet for price, because price likes to gravitate towards those liquidations, liquidate all the longs out of the market, and oftentimes when you see these liquidations occur, this is sometimes where you can see a swing failure pattern to look for a long position and capitalize on that sharp move back to the upside. Now, if you guys are interested in learning how to trade SFPs, you could check the video out on our channel, or if one of the mods could drop the link to that, it would be super helpful, and I'll love you guys forever, even though I already love you forever. But just many reasons, right? Like, this is something we've been looking at this is something we've been looking at on the live stream for quite some time, and here we are, right? Just getting a little bit closer to it. Now, there's no guarantees we come down to this level, but again, trading is all about confluence. Not only do we have the key levels of support, we also know we have those liquidation levels, and both of these things act as a magnet. So again, the next place that I would be willing to look for a significant long position would be down towards these naked points of control for both of those reasons, right? The liquidity is sitting down there, and the naked points of control are sitting there as well. But there is another key level. This one, in my opinion, is even more important, because if we really start dumping to the downside, this is going to be like kind of that lower level that we're looking at, and it does have similar confluence, not only with a point of the macro point of control of this gigantic range that we've been looking at for quite some time. Let me go ahead and hide this volume profile just to make it nice and simple for you guys. But simply put, guys, next key level of support sitting right down here. Again, remember the liquidations. And then below that, we do have another big point of interest that I want to cover. And again, it does have a little bit of confluence with the liquidity as well. But first off, I do want to just dive a little bit deeper into this local TA, and then we'll get back to that last resort support that may be where you want to kind of start either looking for a long position, but if you can't find those bullish confirmations, you may want to hold on for a little bit more of a bumpy ride. And I'm going to cover that kind of super bearish scenario. But just in the long, just to kind of repeat here, guys, like this was not like the biggest move down ever, right? Like it feels like a really big move. And actually, if I wind up, let me just go ahead and pull up my, let me pull up Discord really quickly, because earlier today in the premium Discord, guys, I did wind up dropping a little bit of a message because things were quite boring, right? We were basically just sitting, bear with me while I pull this up. Yeah, just kind of sitting there. I'm actually going to take a screenshot because I don't want to leak any of this information in the premium Discord. It wouldn't be fair for the people who pay. But let me just go ahead and pull this up really quickly. And we updated the premium Discord earlier today. Ayo, what's going on, Mafia? Plan still remains the same as yesterday, as BTC will not move. Being patient and waiting on these levels, about to hop on a call with Bitcoin right now, and then we dropped this little meme where Michael Scott was on the phone saying, you got to do something, you can't just sit there, and then 5 minutes later, she decided to dump. I don't know if it was 5 minutes, but just shortly after that, she wound up dumping. And the reason I bring this up, guys, is because sometimes trading is a game of waiting, right? We don't like to get into these willy-nilly trades. We don't try to long every level of support or short every level of resistance. We like to wait for the highest probability setups where, and it's not that you can't look for these little scalp trades. We actually were in a scalp long in the premium Discord, where we only really hit TP1, and then we either got stopped out in profit at break even, or wherever you, depending on how you were handling your risk management, depends on if you lost money there or not. But we really only hit TP1 there. But this was a very small scalp position, and again, we only like to take the highest probability trades. And again, it doesn't mean you can't take these small scalps, but on these small scalps, we're very clear about, hey, not a huge position here. This is not me loading up the next long position. This is just a simple little scalp. If we get a little bit of a move up, we can make a little bit of a bag, right? And it's a smaller capital, higher leverage position, right? Because we want to maximize the expected smaller move while not risking as much money, right? So that's why we use the higher leverage. And I know leverage has this like crazy stigma about it's gambling. And granted, there's tons of people out there using it as a gambling outlet. But when you use it and understand how you can use it to increase the kind of solidity of your risk management, it's super, super helpful, right? And I'm actually, we'll get to that in a second, but simply put, guys, one of the reasons why I was not actually that excited about taking a long within this range was simply put, we actually wound up front running this value area low, right? And at this point, obviously, the value area has moved just a little bit, I believe, but now we are actually seeing some signs of a potential local bounce. Now, again, if we don't come, again, I'm still waiting to come down to this significant level of support for many reasons, right? You got the liquidity sitting down there, acting as a magnet, just sucking price down, as well as these key levels of support, which, to be honest with you, in my opinion, are much more likely to get a bounce rather than, just getting a bounce off, just the air here, right? We have solid foundation down here. So again, more interested in coming lower. However, we are starting to see a little bit of potential reversal signals where we have those lower lows on our price action, higher lows, slightly higher lows. This is like almost invalidated here, guys. I would call that invalidated. So no bullish divergence on the 4 hour. That would have been nice to see as we deviated below that volume profile, letting us know that not only, you would have that bull div, but also you could be looking at this as an oversold Bitcoin, looking to ride it back into the fair value. But we simply just do not have that confirmation as it has been invalidated. And then coming down to some of these lower time frames, you actually do have some of the bull divs, right? Not as strong as, say a 4 hour bullish divergence, but you have that 2 hour bull div forming just underneath that value area. Again, letting you know maybe you could get back into that value area. And then coming down to the 1 hour, this is actually confirmed, right? You have a confirmed bullish divergence, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, and simply put, you are below that value area. Come on, fixed range. You could do it. Let's go. You got it. You got it. Come on. Come on, buddy. There you go. But again, getting those bull dips as you deviate could give you a little bit of a bounce. But again, guys, the fact that number one, there's a couple reasons that I would potentially expect a little bit lower here. Again, local bounces, not impossible. But, other than the fact we have the MPOCs and the liquidity sitting down here, I'm going to explain this a little bit to you guys, right? We went over this the other day, but you have to understand, right? Not only do we have the visible liquidation levels sitting in this zone, right, that we just looked at on the liquidation heat map, right? Let me drag that back over. Right, we have the 39.5, 39.6. I would kind of call the significant liquidation sitting between about 39.2 and about 39.8, right? So the fact that we actually have those liquidations sitting in the same area, just the logic of where the liquidity is sitting makes a lot of sense here, right? Because we have never taken this low from all the way back in December. We have this wick low down here where there's probably a lot of stop losses underneath, which again was visualized by that heat map, right? You don't need the heat maps to kind of theorize where the liquidity is sitting, but the heat map just kind of solidifies where you would think that is. So again, I would love to come a little bit lower and at least take out these lows before, again, it's not only the fact that we could take this low and start liquidating people who have their stop losses set underneath, right? Because if you're familiar with liquidity, simply put, you probably have a lot of people. The thought process here is that you have a lot of people who are either long from, this wick, right? Or anyone else who is long maybe from up here or here or here or here, right? Anyone who is long from any of this price action, even people who are long from down here and here. A lot of these people probably have their stop losses and liquidation levels below the last significant swing low, which would be this low here, or, well, let me clear this up so it's a little easier to see, which would be this low here and this low here. So you have to think to yourself, hey, I know price is attracted to liquidity, and I know those stop losses are the liquidity, and we can literally see this on the heat map right here. So why not see if we can come take that liquidity before looking for a long position and to add a little bit of what is the opposite to adding insult to injury? Like to add, I don't know, whatever the opposite of that is, to add a little bit of confidence to that setup. What we could be looking for is a potential break of these lows, and then as we start liquidating these people, I would be careful, right? Because I know a lot of people like to look at liquidation levels as support levels, which I think is actually pretty bad idea, just in my own experience, just because, the thought is if you hit these liquidation levels, obviously, there's a lot of stop losses and liquidations, and when you get stopped out of a long position, it creates a market sell order, adding more sell pressure on the market. So when you hit this level, although you oftentimes see reversals when you hit liquidation levels, you're initially going to get a quick push down, right? Because when everyone gets stopped out of their longs, it's going to add that flush of sell orders, right, from their stop losses getting hit, which will cause likely a liquidation wick, like we see many, many times in this market, right? Big liquidation wick, even here, potential liquidation wick. But and we can actually confirm if the liquidations are taking place by looking at something like exo charts, which we may be able to get into a little bit later. But if we do get those liquidations to occur, the nice thing here is that we do have a nice level of support below. And that is simply explained why I would be more comfortable looking for a long position or a bigger long position, not until we come back down to these levels between 39.6 and 38.775. Now, about that next level of support, and like in my opinion, the much more important level of support, we have to think about where price would go if we wind up cracking these levels. And you have to think to yourself, guys, when you're just looking at this chart alone. Let me delete some of these lines. I'm going to take off the new local here. And let me just pull chat back up. Discord covered chat. But as we continue on here, just looking at this chart, guys, this is why we were saying to be careful at this golden pocket value area high. Not just because of the golden pocket, not just because of the value area high, but simply put, guys, we have simply been going up and to the right. Right? This is an overextended move. This is just like an overextended arm that is only going to be able to be held out for so long. When you see a structure like this, guys, think about just holding your arm up like this, right? Like if you're just holding your arm up like this, you're going to be able to hold it for a little bit, right? But then after like 2 minutes, it'll start burning more than you expect, right? 5 minutes, it starts to burn more than you think. You I could almost guarantee you could hold your arm out a lot less than you would bet, right? Like I would probably bet I could hold my arm up like this for ever, it feels like, right? Until you actually do it for like a minute and you're like, oh my God, my shoulder's starting to burn, right? And that's kind of what I think of. I don't know why I compared it to an arm, but that's kind of what we think about, or what this kind of reminds me of, right? We can only extend up into the right like this for so long without coming back down and flushing out some of those liquidations below, right? And you guys know the market maker, shout out to the pattern watchers. I know you guys are familiar with Mr. Market Maker. Shout out to Tino. But, a lot of times they will come down and flush out those leveraged positions. The market loves to wreck the leverage, right? And you have to think to yourself, on this move up, lots of people were probably FOMO longing, and they're leaving that trail of liquidation and stop losses below. And we now know by looking at the liquidation heat maps that those actual liquidation levels are concentrated here and at our next key level of support, which is simply put at $34,419, which is the macro point of control of our overall range that we've been looking at. So if things wind up getting ugly, now, I'm not necessarily calling for this to happen, but we have to be prepared in no matter what happens, right? We have to be prepared for the move up or the move down because we can make money either way, right? I'm actually, I talked about this recently. I am actually trying to build up a small account here on Zeta Markets. We have looked at this a few different times. Let me actually go ahead and pull it up. This is simply just a little, this is a small account. I deposited about $500. I am looking to just grow this small account. And I was actually in a JTO short earlier. I don't think the chart's a little bit glitchy right now. But I am in a JTO short here. I've already taken about $300 in profit. I believe it was about $300 in profit, letting the rest ride. About $230 in unrealized profit now. So about up, overall, if I were to take this profit right now, up about $400, maybe closer to $500 if I were to close this position right now. But just kind of wanted to show this. I've been talking about this recently, been growing this account. Let me see, transfer history. I believe I only put like $500 in it. So a little bit less than 500 actually. So 248 and 248. And now we, I believe, are up. Let's see here. Let's see, all time. So our all-time high was about 1638, and right now we are up about to 1,400, but I believe we're back up to 1,600. This is a little bit lagged, so we'll check on this tomorrow. But simply put, pretty happy with this account, right? 500 from 500 all the way up to 1,600, more than 2x the account so far. It's only been about a month and a couple of weeks, or maybe a month and a week. So super happy with how this is playing out. I think I've only lost like one trade on this entire journey of growing this small account. So everybody says you need a ton of money to start trading, and I beg to differ, guys. You could start with even if you started with $250. If you take it slow and you use good risk management, you can grow these small accounts. But simply put, guys, next key level of support here, 34,419. Not only is it the macro POC, but again, if we pull up, and again, you want to think about your liquidity theory, right? Chances are, this area of consolidation probably had a lot of people longing, right? Because people are probably thinking, hey, we have consolidation in an uptrend. This is usually bullish. Let me look for a long position. So what does that do? That essentially puts a lot of long positions, maybe sitting down here, people who are longing all within this kind of area of consolidation. Let's go ahead and move this, right? All these people who are longing up in here, right? All their stop losses and liquidation levels are likely going to be sitting, somewhere within this area. And if we go ahead and pull up that heat map, we can actually go ahead and check if we have those liquidations sitting in that area. And, well, if you look at here, between about 35.4 and 33.4, 35.4 and 33.4. Let's grab our box. Right? So 35.4 and 33.4. Right about here. Right? We know we have a lot of liquidation levels. Right? So what does this mean? This essentially means that this could not only act as a point of interest or a magnet for price, right? But we also have the point of control here. So if we were to get that move down, break below our POCs, if those liquidations don't give us a bounce and we just keep coming to the downside, in my opinion, guys, this could be a potential target for this corrective move. And I know not a lot of people are out there wanting to tell you guys this because It's not really good for YouTube views to say Bitcoin's going down. It's much more beneficial to be like up and to the right, up and to the right. Bitcoin ETF, the bear market's overall going to 100K. But we have to look at both sides of things, right? And we covered the bullish scenario yesterday because just like it's not impossible to come down to this level, it's also not impossible to get a significant bounce here and come a little bit higher. And if we are seeing distribution up here, that may be what we actually wind up seeing, where we kind of just range up here, right? And then maybe even take the highs a little bit before eventually and potentially getting a bigger correction to come in. But if this move continues down, guys, simply put, these are the key levels to look at, not only because of the structural support, right, with the MPOCs and this just point of control from the macro range, but also understanding that the liquidity is also lining up with these levels almost perfectly, right? It's not like I was looking for this confluence. I simply was looking at these POCs, simply looking at them as horizontal levels of support and resistance. And then I go to check the heat map, and I'm like, wow, surprise, surprise. Look at these liquidation levels all matching up perfectly. So we could potentially see, price make its way down here at some point. Whether we come up or not first may be another story, right? Just because we got this move down today doesn't mean that we're instantly going to get sucked to these levels, right? Maybe not even this one. But these are potential possibilities if this bearish action continues. And those liquidation heat maps are just fire, giving us that confluence. And on top of that, guys, I would actually... I'm going to say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't know if anybody got that joke, but if you used to watch Vine, you'll probably understand that joke. But, as we look here, guys, not only do we have the point of control and the liquidation levels lining up here, yes, but wait, there's more. If we pull some of these significant Fibonacci levels, I'm actually going to zoom out to a higher time frame, and, we're going to take a look here, right? Pull this fib from the low to the high. Look at the confluence on this point of control, guys. It would be not the macro golden pocket retracement, right? Not from the low to the high, but from this impulse up to the high. We have this beautiful golden pocket confluence with the POC, right? And this is actually kind of nice. And if we came down here, like I said, I would be looking for longs down at this level, but if we came down to this golden pocket POC, this would be an extremely, extremely strong level for me to be looking for a bounce. Not for you to look for a bounce, because you have to do your own TA and come to your own conclusions. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a crazy guy that screams into a camera on YouTube. But this would be a significant level of support and just an added level of confluence, letting us know that we have that golden pocket in just lining up perfectly with that point of control. And then coincidentally, you have your 786 lining up right here with your value area low. And, I know, I said this the other day, I know a lot of times we can get a little bit, overwhelmed, right? When you have all these different levels. This isn't that bad. But, if you get overwhelmed, right, keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. Look at your volume profiles. You can erase all the other levels, take them all away, right? You can hide the local support and resistance. Simply just look at your volume profile. You have your value area high, your POC, and your value area low. Even if you didn't know the golden pocket was here, even if you didn't know the 786 was here, you would still be looking at these levels as key, right? And you would probably get respect on them, but you wouldn't understand it was because of all the confluence that we just saw. But we like to give you that X-ray vision into the market and show you exactly what is sitting below, or should I say behind these levels, and why they are typically respected so well. And when we call for rejections on the channel, typically we wind up seeing them happen. We're not right 100% of the time. Obviously, nobody is. I would never sit up here and try to pretend that I'm right 100% of the time, but we definitely get it right more often than we get it wrong. And a lot of it has to do with the analysis that we put in here and all the confluence we find at these levels. So with that being said, guys, I think that, I don't. Should we go into the apocalyptic level? Let me know in the chat if you guys want to see the apocalyptic levels for Bitcoin. Let's see. Shout out to Pastrana said, after this, can you check out Bitcoin? Guys, we're looking at Bitcoin the whole stream. I heard your request yesterday, so we're just doing Bitcoin the whole stream. But Mr. Gruen said he wants the apocalyptic situation. Now, Moon Poop Boy, out of control. Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. Send it. Let's go. Shout out to DJ. After that, look at BTC. I got you, Candle Talk. Let's go. I like that name, bro. Okay. All right, we'll take a look at the apocalyptic situation, right? And simply put, guys, it's not really that crazy of a situation. But simply put, looking at the 2019 fake out bull market here, easily, when we came down from that macro golden pocket retest, right? So when you pull your fib from the high to the low, we came up, rejected that golden pocket, got the cool off, and then on the way down, we got a little bit of support on the macro golden pocket on the way down, right? When you pull it from the low to the high. And then you lost it during the Black Swan event, which wound up pushing you all the way down to the 786. And then finally, those weekly candles came up and closed just below that 786. But when looking in hindsight, this was simply a 786 retest after getting a macro golden pocket retracement. So not that, history does not always repeat itself, guys, but it oftentimes rhymes. So if we wind up pulling that golden pocket, that same golden pocket from the low to the high, right, of the bear market rally, similar levels, right? We still have confluence here with the golden pocket value area low right here. And as we continue down, that would give us nice support. But if we were to get the same exact thing that happened in 2019, and we got that big cool off, and we came all the way down to that 786, and maybe even panic wicked below, we could be looking at a potential $18,000 Bitcoin, but that 786 is simply sitting at about 22K. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not calling for a $22,000 Bitcoin, but we're just simply looking at the past and comparing it to what that situation would look like in the current price action. Now, do I think this is possible? Sure. It's not impossible, but I will say this. I think it is much more likely to get a retracement closer to the one that we looked at first, right? Where you have the 786 on the value area low, and then you have the golden pocket POC. I think this is a little bit more palatable, at least for now. If we did get a move to that golden pocket, maybe we reassess the situation. And if we can't get the bounce and things look super bearish, we could look at a more bearish scenario. But if we were to come down to that $22,000 level to see that macro point of control, macro 786 get hit, I do think that we're going to have some kind of a crazy Black Swan event, which, if you've been keeping an eye on the news, guys, may not be impossible, right? I'm not calling for a Black Swan, but I will say, if we were going to get down to those lower prices, I think a Black Swan would be needed, right? And again, one other reason why I think it's a little bit more likely to get support at the first levels we were looking at, because even if we came down to this 786, which is at about 30K. Again, much more palatable and much more believable of a number at this point in time. Again, like I said, if we come down here or even the golden pocket and things look horrible, maybe we can look lower. But if we did wind up coming down here, guys, not only do you have the 786, not only do you have the value area low, but you also have the structural horizontal support of this range right here, right? If we grab that fixed range volume profile, you guys will remember we traded within this range for quite some time, and that value area high and just the structural horizontal support, right? Like hit our head. So just these levels are likely going to be respected in some form or fashion, even if you didn't know the 786 was sitting there, right? So in my opinion, if things get really ugly, these are going to be kind of the top 3 levels of support that I would be looking at, and kind of the top 3 scenarios, with that $22,000 scenario being the absolute crazy bearish case. Again, not calling for it, but just kind of looking down and comparing the past to the present. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what about the altcoins, right? What about Ethereum? What about XRP? I know, there's rumors of the ETF, the ETH, right? I just made that up. I'm sure people, I don't know if anyone else made that joke already, but I'm going to claim it because I just thought of that right now. But there's rumors of the Ethereum ETF, and, things, even me, right? We recently made a video talking about what we will be looking at on Ethereum for a move up. And with that being said, if you guys want to see any altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Rob the Crypto Snob will let us know what altcoins are the favorites. Rob, let's do like 2 or 3. Let's do 3 altcoins. And then we will take a look at Jasmy. I think Jake wanted to take a look at Jasmy yesterday. We could take a look at that. But guys, what about Ethereum? Is Ethereum just going to follow suit? Or are we going to see a potential situation where maybe Bitcoin cools off or consolidates as the whales have taken profit after this big move on Bitcoin? Have they been taking profit, and are they going to dump that into ETH to ride that next narrative, which might be that Ethereum ETF? Shout out to Tony D. We will cover the super chats in just a second, guys. We have a lot of stuff to cover today, so I just want to run through the TA first. We will come back to the super chats. Shout out to Tony D, though. He says, shout out to all the pattern watchers still in here. Mafia loves you. Shout out to the pattern watchers. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, guys. You guys are our type of energy for sure. You guys are hype, and I love it. Somebody said, I think ETH is gonna buck on BTC this year a little bit. Candle Talk, shout out to you, bro. And I know a lot of other people are looking at something very similar. And like I said, are we going to see those whales who had taken profit up here and may continue to take profit up here? Are we going to see them roll it into that next narrative, which is going to be likely that Ethereum ETF or maybe even some other altcoin narratives that may or may not be popping up? So taking a look at Ethereum, and I will say this, guys. Not impossible, right? Because Ethereum, let me erase some of these levels, and I just want to take a look at this kind of bear price action with you guys. We have hidden significant resistance here on Ethereum, right? Because we came back up to the value area low. Shout out to Anna Maria, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, we can take a look at ICP for you, no problem. I heard you were long. We will definitely take a look at it for you. I peeped your chat earlier. I got your back, don't worry. But let's see. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy says, by the way, happy handiversary, Wicked Wicks. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. Shout out to Darren says, ETF decision was delayed today. So obviously, yeah, shout out to Darren. Thank you for dropping that, bro. I appreciate you. Maybe that gives us a little bit of a pullback here, but we have hidden significant resistance, right? Which I guess kind of would line up with that. But we have hidden significant resistance here, touching this value area low, which is also our doorway to higher prices on Ethereum, because we all know that if we break above this value area low and hold this as support, we are likely going to see that range fill all the way up to the POC and the value area high. And that is not an unlikely scenario, right? Because this is the exact thing that we saw happen on Bitcoin as we were knocking on the door of that value area. And I've been saying this a lot recently, but it's just because it's true. We made a video about 8 months ago talking about this macro value area being filled. I just don't want anyone thinking that these are like fugazi or like not real. We made a video 8 months ago while we were tapping our head on this value area low, which at that time was the doorway to higher prices. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much. There we go. We got the altcoins in. I appreciate you, Chem, bro. Thank you so much. But yeah, we made a video 8 months ago as we were tapping this value area low, which was the doorway to higher prices, saying, hey, if we get above that value area low and flip it to support, we could see this whole range fill, right? And at the time, guys, I felt crazy, right? This is Bitcoin at 28K and me calling for a $50,000 Bitcoin, right? And I felt crazy, but we just trusted the volume profile. And we obviously had plans on what we were going to do if price came down, right? We were prepared in both directions, but we wound up seeing that fill. So it's not impossible. And we saw the same thing happen right here. This is literally the almost exact same situation that Ethereum is in right now, right? Ethereum is essentially doing this right now, where we're knocking on the door of this previous area of consolidation. We pulled the range on the previous area of consolidation. We have the POC, the value area low, and the value area high. And when Bitcoin was knocking on that door, all we needed to do was hop above it, flip it to support, right? We did get a little rejection. That's why I've been warning people on Ethereum, hey, not impossible to get a little pullback. And I'll show you guys almost, another big reason why it wouldn't be impossible to get a move down on ETH. But simply put, eventually you get above that level, and you wind up filling that whole range to the value area high. And I want you to look at the structure here, right? All-time high, first area of significant consolidation. Going back to Ethereum, we are literally in this exact situation, right? All-time high, first significant area of consolidation, pull the fixed range, value area low, doorway to higher prices. Can we see Ethereum fill the range? I think it is not impossible. But again, I would be careful of some local resistance, right? Or should I say short-term rejections, right? Because, again, coming back to Bitcoin, when you hit these value, like you can hang out below these value areas for a little bit, right? Like first tap is very rarely the time that gets you up, right? Like this is very rarely that you just come in and shoot right through the range. Typically you will find resistance. And in this case, we kind of formed an ascending triangle where you have those higher levels, higher lows on the flat top of resistance. And then finally you squeeze through. But do we have a daily bear div here? Because if we did, that would be just eerily. Yeah. I mean, this is like almost exactly what we're seeing on Ethereum right now, guys, right? You come up to that previous value area low, higher highs on your price action, right? lower highs on your momentum waves. You have that daily bearish divergence, which is literally what we had confirmed on Ethereum, right? You have your higher highs on price action, lower highs on your momentum waves, and you had money flow coming out as well, which would call for a potential rejection, right? Because you're hitting key resistance, you have the bear div, money flow is coming out, very similar to Bitcoin. Obviously, we had that bear div, and then boom, you kind of bing bong around, right? You get rejected here a couple times until finally you flip it to support and get the move to the upside. The only thing that looks a little different here, in my opinion, is the money flow coming out. That is a little bit more alarming for ETH. However, we'll have to see how the price action develops. But again, once we're able to flip that key level at $2,557, that is what is going to open the door to potentially get up to some of these higher targets between 3,100 and 3,183. So super, super interesting stuff here on Ethereum, guys. And then looking at the short term here for ETH, I'm actually quite happy to see a pullback on Ethereum because I am looking for a long position in potential anticipation of getting that range to fill. And as you guys know, we do not long the breakouts here, right? We're not looking for the pop over the level and then looking to long the top and then get wrecked. We like to be patient, right, and wait for the best opportunity to enter. So simply put, let's bring back up the local analysis, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this range. And these are kind of the key levels that I'm watching, guys, right? If we pull this fib from the high to the low, we do have some nice confluence here with the value area high golden pocket and the 786 POC, right? So if we were to get a continued move down, these levels have basically remained the same. And now these levels are between 2389 and 2356. And right here between the 786 and the POC, we also have between 2286 and 2245. This would be the next level of support. And if we do continue down here, I would look for bounces off this first zone. And then if we get accepted back into this range, we may be going to test that POC. And sometimes price will come down and retest the previous point of control before getting a bigger breakout. And that might be what gives us the move to the upside. And obviously, we don't know if that's going to happen, but these are scenarios that I'm looking at. And more importantly, the key levels of support that I would be watching. And then obviously, if you lose that point of control, you would simply be looking down to the value area low, which in my opinion, typically, most of the time, that is where the, shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. Yo, shout out to you, bro. I like that name. This is typically where the higher probability long positions are. When you trade these volume profiles, simply put, guys, we are looking to deviate from the low, ride it back to the high, deviate from the high. You look to come to the POC and then the low, and then you go from the low to the POC. You retest the low, flip the POC to support, and then you get a breakout. But simply put, we are just looking at this as oversold asset, oversold asset, oversold asset, and within the range is the fair value, right? This is where buyers and sellers have agreed that between the two levels here, the top and the bottom of the range, is a fair price for Bitcoin, somewhere between, not Bitcoin, Ethereum, between about 2162 and about, 2386 is the fair price for Ethereum. And when you deviate above, this is kind of the theory, right? This is why you would anticipate to get sucked back down towards the POC, which we all know acts as a magnet. So that's what I'm looking at on Ethereum, guys. Simply put, pretty cut and clean, right? Still looking at the same thing that we were looking at yesterday, but we are finally getting that move down, further justifying me not longing the top here. I'm not impervious to the emotions, guys. When I get a move up and we're above that value area low, don't get it twisted. I am definitely feeling like, oh my God, we cracked the value area low. I really hope we don't fill this range because I am not in a position. But I simply just do not act on these feelings, guys. I simply just let them go. And if I miss the move, I miss the move. I'm totally fine with it. I'd rather miss a move than get into a bad trade or a bad long position, right? This is not where you want a long Ethereum as it's pumping, and then you're simply just going to get wrecked, right? So I would much rather miss a move. Now, let's go ahead and, let's take a look at Solana. I know this is another big one that everybody is looking for. Taking a look at Solana, as you guys know, we have been looking, I could probably get, actually, no, we can keep those levels up there. But simply put, guys, Solana sitting in its range, right? We have basically just been consolidating between this value area high and the point of control of the range and this golden pocket, right? Now, if you went to a lower time frame, you could obviously pull this local range if you were looking to scalp Solana. Pretty beautiful scalping range here. If you were to come down to something like the, say the 15-minute, this is kind of beautiful, right? You deviate from the low, you have support down here. If you're able to find those bullish confirmations to go long, you look to ride it back into the value area, get to the POC, and then eventually the high. And then as you deviate from the high, you look to ride it back down to the low, deviate from the low, back to the high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the low, et cetera, right? This is why we trade the volume profiles. It's simply because of the reliability of the deviations getting dragged back into the range. So you kind of have rangeception here on Solana where you have the local range and then the more macro range. But for me, to take a significant position on Solana, guys, in my opinion, I would much rather come down to this more macro value area low where we have this 786 confirmation confluence with that level, right? The bottom of the range and the 786. If we were to come back down here, this is where I would feel a little bit, even a deviation below, this is where I would be a little bit more comfortable looking for a long position to target the POC and then hopefully and potentially the value area high once again, and then maybe even a little bit higher, depending on if we are going to continue an uptrend or start a macro downtrend. And don't forget, guys, this is the money flow on the daily is like this for a lot of these assets, and it's coming out, right, on the daily, right? Red dot's about to print, money flow rolling back to the downside. This would indicate, remember, money flow indicates the longer-term trend. So if we wind up having this money flow crossover into the red, it's going to be much more likely that the trend continues to the downside in the macro, right? We've had monstrous moves on these coins, guys. Not impossible to get pullbacks, right? So if that money flow crosses over, it would probably be indicating that a macro downtrend is going to start. Now, that does not mean that the bull market's over, wrap it up, no bull market in 2025. That's not what we're saying, but it's pretty overextended here, guys. So, we could easily see a correction come in and a macro downtrend begin. But if we were to do that, please understand that we could get a pretty significant move to the downside without losing the significant market structure on the higher time frames, right? So, if you pull your full golden pocket 786 retracement from the low of the bear market all the way to the all-time high that we just made, not the all-time high, but the bear market all-time high right now, our golden pocket is sitting down here at $53, right? So it's not even impossible to get down to these levels, right? Doesn't mean Solana's dead, but we may just start a bigger retracement, right? We just had a significantly bullish rally, right? Like, we can't go up and to the right forever. Well, we can, but we do have to get significant pullbacks in the meantime, right? So locally, the levels that I'm watching are going to be key level support in the kind of lower time frames would be about $81. If we significantly and decisively lose this range, I would simply look down to this old volume profile, which I believe we were, this was kind of when we were banging our head on the value area low. By the way, same exact thing on Solana, guys. We simply came up to the previous, this is a previous value area low, right? So we tapped on this previous value area low, doorway to higher prices, broke above, filled the whole range, right? We actually made a video when we were knocking on this door. I don't know if it was here or maybe right here. We were saying, hey, guys, if we flip this level to support, we could see $100 Solana. And then like 2 days later, Solana was over $100. And it's not because I'm the best trader. I say this all the time. It's not because I'm the best trader, the best analyst, or only I know how to do this. We teach this every day on the live stream, but it's really the power of the volume profiles. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, guys, if we do break this range and we wind up coming a little deeper down, we can look at these lower levels down here. Bottom of this range is coming down to about $69. But just keep in mind, could you imagine if Solana started dumping down below $70? People are going to be like, oh my God, all the bears are going to say, $300 incoming, or for Bitcoin, I'm talking about. $300 for Solana would be nice. But, the sentiment is going to start getting really bearish if we start coming lower. But you understand that in the macro, we could still maintain higher lows, even if we break those levels, right? So just keep that in mind. But that's what we're looking at on Solana. And let's just take a quick look at ICP. Shout out to Randy. What is going on? Randy Hipper in the chat. What is going on? Shout out to you, Randy. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. And Anna Maria, Randy is shouting out Anna Maria. Speaking of her, she wants to see ICP. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And here we are. Let me see if we have a running chart for ICP. Here we are, right? So obviously, guys, again, very similar situation, right? ICP knocking on the door of that value area low. But what did we have happen here? Simply put, bearish divergence on the daily. Very similar to Ethereum, right? So you have your higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves, money flow coming out. We get the rejection, retest the previous value area high, and now we're back on our way down. So this is actually pretty simple analysis, Anna Maria. Not simple to do, but simple to explain for you, which I'm sure is probably very nice because it's pretty clean cut, right? If we continue down, your next key level of support is going to be the value area high at $10.45. And I think, let's see, I think she said she was long from about $12. Is that right, Anna Maria? Shout out to Anna Maria. I don't know. I don't know exactly what is going to happen here. So I don't know if you're effed just yet. But, if we wind up coming back down here, I could tell you this for sure. The next level of support that I see on the chart is $10.48, right? So if we come back down there, we may be able to get some kind of a bounce. But if we break down below this, probably going to be looking down to about 941. And if we break down below that, probably about 874. Simply just looking at this previous area of consolidation to get the just looking at this volume profile, right? To get the value area high, POC, value area low. Shout out to Bobby O. Shout out to Bobby O. Says, how do I get into the private Discord day trade channels? Shout out to Bobby. Well, actually, what you could do to get into the premium Discord is you could come on over to FrankieCandlesTrading.com and pop on over to the website and I believe, just scroll down a little bit and you will be able to access the premium Discord. You can just click Get Premium and that will be able to get you in to the premium Discord. And that's where the day trade channels are. So shout out to Bobby O. Also, guys, you can check out the merch on Frankie Candles, FrankieCandlesTrading.com. We got new styles of the hats coming in February. February 1st, they will be available. And we got tons of different colors. And on top of that, as well as if you guys want to trade and get some of our bonuses that we've worked out, some of the deals we've worked out for the CandleMafia, for some of our favorite exchanges. You could come check these out if you want to, trade your favorite altcoins or Bitcoin, whether the price is going up or down, with or without leverage. You can check out these links to get a deal, and it will help out the channel. So it's a win-win situation. But continuing on with ICP, guys, if we continue down, that's the level. These are the levels that I'm looking at. But what's kind of nice here is, Anna Maria, we are kind of forming a new range here, right? So, you can look at this more local range. Let me actually zoom in a little bit to get these a little bit more accurate. So what I would actually look at is I would pull this as a range, right? So we're definitely deviating below the range, kind of losing it, to be honest with you. So it was respected for long enough. Deviate from the high, back to the low, deviate the low, back to the high, deviate the high, back to the low, and then we broke down, bearish retest, and this is where we got the bigger breakdown, right? A little bit of a volume gap here as well. I mean, you could see it on the profile, right? Your next high volume node is sitting right here. Not even really a high volume node, but just kind of a significant area of volume. Pretty big volume gap. That's what created that bigger move down likely. And then this little high volume node is kind of what you're sticking to right now. With that being said, Hannah Marie, I swear I'm not trying to ruin your day right now. But here's the last thing I would like to do, especially to you, Anna Maria. You're the last person's day who I would want to ruin. It's 6 hour... Trying to find, some kind of bullish signal here for a bounce. Not impossible to get a local bounce here, but I'll be honest, not looking the best. You're looking to potentially print a green dot here. Your 5 hour got flopped on. 16-hour VWAP starting to roll back over, but, over the long term, right, money flow crossing into the red on the 16-hour, the 12-hour is more of a bearish scenario in the medium term. Not that we're just going to dump because of that right now. You could even see a little bit of a bounce come in here just based off the VWAPs. But over time, this does look like it may want to continue down, and I do think potentially we could wind up within this range. So shout out to Anna Maria. I wish I couldn't tell you to close the trade or keep it open. These are decisions you have to make for yourself. I could be wrong, right? We could get a massive bounce in here for no reason, but in my opinion, the charts may be calling for a slight bounce, but nothing really that is screaming to me that we're just going to launch off to higher prices, at least as of right now, until we see this higher term money flow, higher time frame money flow continue to the upside or flip back to the upside. So there you go. Shout out to Randy, says, great show. Shout out to Randy. You have a great show. Guys, don't forget to go check out Randy and Tino from Traders Reality, guys. These are good friends of the channel, but shout out to Randy. Go check out her channel. She's got some really, really good content over there. We were hanging out with her the other day on our live stream. Always a good time and always good vibes over there. And hey, she's New York. She's a New York paisan, guys. She's over there eating the meatballs and stuff. She's trying to get out of New York. I'm trying to get back into New York so I can get the good food. Well, not move back to New York, but I just want the New York food. But shout out to Randy. Let's see. Let's continue on here. I do not understand the fascination with Dr. Pimple Popper. Makes me queasy. I don't know why I get stuck. Dumpy Weekend. Shout out to Crypto Moonster. I like that name. Yeah, definitely not impossible. Not with the way the charts are looking. Definitely not impossible. Yeah. Let's see. Wifey. Oh, it's gross. Yeah, I know. Dr. Pimple Popper, for some reason, I'll get stuck watching that for a little bit, but I'm almost throwing up the entire time. So shout out to whoever brought that up. Creighton says, okay, yeah, it's kind of a gross show. Okay, I get it. Shout out to Creighton C. But let's continue on here, guys, and let's go ahead and take a look at, Tony. Solana video, guys. If you check out that Solana video pinned to the top of the chat, that was us looking for that $100 Solana. Bobby O said, I thought it came with. Shout out to Bobby O. Thank you for the super chat. Said I thought it came with subscription. Shout out to Bobby O. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. By like subscribing to the YouTube channel. At Tony D. If you could chat it out with Bobby O, Tony D will be able to explain everything to you. But let's go ahead and continue on to our next altcoin, which was we did Tony D drop that Solana video, so we lost the what was it? Matic. Shout out to whoever just said Matic. It just flew out of my view. And Tia, yeah, we can take a look at Matic and Tia. Let's go ahead and check it out. And then we'll go ahead and start spinning the wheel, guys. By the way, quick announcement. Before we take a look at Matic, I will say we are, I think, just about ready to start making our content changes. And it's going to be hard, guys. It's going to be hard for me to change up the content here. Not that we're changing up the content. It's totally ending with you guys getting more sauce, right? But we're going to have to change a lot of things. We're changing the structure of some things. Again, maybe adding some additional content that we've been talking about recently. I think we are getting ready to do that. So me and Tony are actually going to have a meeting. So we're going to jump off a little bit early tonight. But we will take a look at Matic. And here we are. No dinner for y'all tonight. Pimple popping nasties. Shout out to Wick 589. And Jordan wants Jasmine. Yeah, I have to do Jasmine because I skipped Jasmine last night. We got to do it for Jake. I don't even know if he's in chat, but shout out to Jake. We love you, bro. Hopefully you see the replay of this or something. We're thinking about you, man. But anyway, taking a look here at Matic. The Head and Shoulders wound up playing out. This is an old chart. But let's go ahead and clear up some of this stuff and take a look at what we got going on. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. Thank you for the super chat. Says, yo, Frankie, when are you gonna check this super chats? TA. Yo, do you want TA on the super chats? We could definitely do that. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Cryptic Aussie. Thank you for the super chat. Said, hey, Frankie, I know you show trades. But you don't seem to trade with a lot of capital. What % do you use to play with and why? Well, shout out to Cryptic Aussie. So I don't show all of my trades. We show, I basically have a content account where we show trades for the content, right? And we took polls in the beginning of the channel asking people, which is funny because I thought the opposite, thinking people want to see these massive trades. And the overwhelming majority vote was people want to see realistic position sizes of smaller position sizes that they could relate to. But if you're referring to this position, This is just a small account. I only started with, this was like a challenge to myself to fund an account with $500 and flip it. So that's why this position size is small. But we kind of mix it around, but yeah, I don't show all my trades, really just the trades on the content account. We kind of mix it up. I show some bigger trades, some smaller trades, but it seemed that the overwhelming majority of people wanted to see smaller trades. I guess that makes sense because it's relatable. It kind of shows, like, showing people that you can literally flip $500 into over $1,000 in, about a month. Obviously, not these results are not, guaranteed to happen for you. I've been doing this for a while, but I think it's nice for people to see. I guess this is why they want to see it. They want to see, like, oh, like if he could flip it, I can flip it, right? And it's true, right? With practice and understanding of what you're doing, and with enough work and dedication to learning the craft, you could 100% do this. You do not need $1 million. But hopefully that answers your question. Shout out to Bobby O. It says, shout out to Bobby O. Dude, you don't have to keep super chatting, bro. Tony D will help you out in the chat. You definitely don't need to super chat, but I do appreciate it. He says, it says the private Discord comes with the channel subscription level. Do you know any? Shout out to Bobby O. I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean by that. There you go. Tony D. Tony D is answering in the chat. I don't know exactly what you mean by subscription. Like I don't know. With the channel subscription, I don't know. Are you talking about the membership? The membership does not come with premium Discord. But yeah, Tony D will be able to explain it to you, Bobby, in the chat. You don't have to super chat anymore. I appreciate you though. But let's continue on. And here we are. Let's see, on the daily. Let's see. Okay, so simply put, guys, I would just pay attention to the volume profile. Honestly, not much to say here on Matic, right? Like, key level of support, definitely going to be about 73 cents, 73.5 cents at your value area low. I'll go ahead and label this for you. Value area low, we'll do the POC and the value area high. Boom. Okay, so simply put, right, like I would be, if I were to look for longs on Matic, which I wouldn't necessarily be favoring right now, right, because you have the money flow crossover into the red, definitely much more bearish of a look. Again, this could be indicating that a macro downtrend is likely to start. And yeah, I wouldn't be looking for moonshot longs right now just because of that, but if I were looking for scalps, I would be looking for the next key level of support to be down here at 73.5 cents. And then let's go ahead and pull our fib. Bada boom, pull your fib. Yeah, we rejected the golden pocket. Shout out to Herman Road Trips. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for gifting those memberships. Thank you for gifting the 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Raymond says they don't understand account balance only affects position size. Nothing else is changed about your trade execution. Oh yeah, he asked like what percentage of the account that I trade with. This is on this specific example here, guys. This is a little bit different, right? This is like a challenge account. So typically, though, on my actual accounts that I trade on that are not like just a specific challenge, I'm trying to get an airdrop here. Rank number 467, not too bad. But I'm trying to get a free airdrop on Zeta Markets. I recommend you guys check these out. I have no affiliation. I get no kickback for this. I'm just having a really good time. It's yeah, that's basically. I'm handling this account just slightly differently, but typically when I trade, I don't risk any more. Here's the thing. Yeah. Oh, that's what you were saying, bro. That chat that I just read, I forgot who said it. They don't understand. Yeah. So here's the thing. I only risk 1% of my account, but that does not mean that I only put 1% of my account on the trade, right? So let me go ahead. Let me pull up. Maybe I can pull up a different. So for example, right, if you have $100 in your account for easy math, yeah, if you have $100 in your account, right, I'm not putting only $1 on each trade. You could put 100% of your account on a trade and then still limit your risk to 1%, right? You can put as much of your money on the trade as you want as long as your stop loss only allows you to lose 1%, right? So it really varies, right? So this trade on Femex, shout out to Femex, so this trade is this is kind of, I mean, I'm probably going to close this pretty soon. There's almost no margin in this at all. This was originally I think I had like $6,000 or $7,000 in margin on this trade originally. We've already got about $3,000 locked in, almost another $1,000 unrealized. I might just close this. I was trying to keep this open because my entry price was at like $26,000 or $26,800. Original entry was $25,200, and then I accidentally added to the position, raising my entry price, which is really annoying. I was kind of holding this for the meme, to be honest, just to be like, hey, if we never go back down there, I might be long from 28K forever. But, you know, there is a chance we can come back down there, so maybe I close this. But this was originally like a $6,000 or $7,000 position, or of my money was in the actual trade, and then it was on 31x leverage, right? So it was wound up being an actual way bigger position than $7,000 or $8,000. But I only put I think $6,000 or $7,000 of my own money on it. Yeah, like you can risk, you could put $10,000 on the trade, right, and then only limit your risk to 1%, right? So it doesn't matter how much of your money you put on the trade. That doesn't mean that you're risking 100% of your account, right? If you have your stop loss set. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, there you go. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Chemistry Bro, said, just risk it all, every trade, 100x. And then Bobby O said, do you know of any good scalp day trading channels? Shout out to Bobby O. Do you mean like Discord channels or YouTube channels? I don't know exactly what you're asking. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly what the question is. I don't know if you're trying to get into a channel in the Discord or you're looking for a YouTube channel. I don't understand. Tony D. But anyway, let's continue on. Okay, so yeah, again, Matic guys, I would just be looking at these volume profile levels, right? Value area low, POC value area high, and then you did get your golden pocket retest, so this could be the start of a bigger downtrend in my own opinion, but you got to break this value area low first, and then likely you will get some kind of a bearish retest and a bigger move back to the downside. So that's kind of what I would be looking at on Matic, to be honest with you. Not looking great with that money flow crossover. Yeah, even somewhat of a fresh red dot here, so those are the key levels. But yeah, nothing really to update here. Just simply within the range still. You could even maybe pull a little bit more of a local range here. Yeah, you can look at this kind of local range as well. But yeah, other than that, kind of just bing-bonging around in a range. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Look said I wouldn't want to follow a YouTube day trade. Would look for Discord. Yeah, chances are if anybody is out there just like putting their day trade setups on YouTube, I don't know anyone who does that because they all have Discords probably. But yeah, also want to warn you, shout out to Bobby. I don't know if you're an experienced trader or not. I would not recommend he said, I got loaned $15K. Do you know of any scalp channels? Bobby, unless I'll give you my honest advice. Even if you were to join my premium Discord, if you got loaned $15,000 and you don't have at least a year or two of experience trading under your belt, I wouldn't be scalping at all with anybody's money. So I'll just cut it to you fair. Like, again, this is coming from someone who has a incentive to try to get you to pay for my premium Discord. Borrowing money from somebody, unless you're an experienced trader, I'm an experienced trader. I don't even do that for friends or family. Very, very dangerous, at least for the person who loaned the money. But yeah, I mean, obviously you could do whatever you want. But yeah, I would, unless you're an experienced trader, there's probably like a 90% chance that you're going to lose all that money trying to scalp and just dumping $15K in. If it's $15,000 that you don't mind, just like that you don't mind if it disappears, or the person that loaned you the money said, hey, if you lose this, I don't care, then I mean that's, hey, there's no risk at that point. But I would just be very careful. It's like almost guaranteed that if you are not a trader, or you have not been trading, and you just dump $15K into an account and try to scalp, you're gonna lose all your money, especially if you're using leverage. So that's what I would say. But yeah, shout out to you. All right, let's see. Toe TV said, put all 15K on 100x long and short, a high volatility altcoin. Yeah, I mean, hey, it might be a decent get. You might be able to gamble it. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin, said 100% right, Frankie. Yeah, guys, like, again, I have incentive. Like, you know, I could sit up here and be like, yeah, definitely, just get into my Discord, super good. And like, but, you know, I'm realistic and I'm honest. Again, you know, if you're not an experienced trader, very dangerous to just put $15,000 if someone borrowed you into scalping. You're going to lose it. Almost guaranteed, right? You know, sure, maybe you gamble it, you get lucky and you make some money. Definitely not impossible either, but the higher likelihood is that you lose all your money. Just being honest. But anyway, let's continue on. Yeah. Shout out to Tony D. Says invest $14,000 with the loaner's permission, and then learn how to trade with the other 1,000 with $100 positions at $10 at $10 each. Yeah, there you go. Hey, shout out to Tony D. Let's go. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out, Bobby. If you're still here. But anyway, continuing on, good advice. Scalping is hard for beginners. Yeah, definitely not impossible. I scalp too, right? That's how I grew this account. That's how we're over 2x on this account, and it was all scalping. But I spent many months and years, not many, I wouldn't say many years, but, you know, I spent a good amount of time thinking that I could just take money, put it into account, and I can't tell you how quickly you learn the lesson that you can't just jump in and make a bunch of money. It's not as easy as it thinks, and if you're watching someone on YouTube that is making you think that you could just come without experience, dump a bunch of money in the market, and then just gamble on scalp trades, they do not have your best interest at heart. They are dishonest, disingenuous, and you should not watch them. That's or you can watch them, just don't listen to them. So just be careful out there. Be careful. Put it all in Celsius. Let's go. All right, let's continue on. Yo, shout out to Stupid Bitcoin, said 1 minute market maker. Let's go. Yeah, scalping is hard for the best too. Yeah, shout out to Shemtrix. Absolutely. Yeah, scalping is more difficult. So there you go. But everybody just wants to get rich quick, and they think for some reason everybody wants to scalp the 5 minute. I think that's like why a lot of people don't do well, right? They lose money. Shout out to Bobby O. Thank you for the super chat again. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. He says I've done options trading. Okay, and the resources. Okay, yeah. So there you go. You know, if you were an options trader, a profitable options trader, then you're definitely not a beginner. Then maybe that's a completely different story. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, bro, watch the live streams. These are 100% free. We do give free setups on here sometimes. We give you the key levels to look for the setups at sometimes. But yeah, you can get in the free Discord as well. We have a free Discord with a bunch of really good traders. You know, that's kind of what I wish I did in the beginning, right? I wish I got into more Discords. I wish I got into more communities and talked to people who were actually had experience trading the assets, right? It would have expedited my learning a lot faster. So I would recommend, you know, if you're looking to spend money, get into premium Discords, whether it's mine or somebody else's, up to you. And then, or just try out the free Discords. But yeah, there you go. That's what I would recommend. Get into communities. But there you go. All right, let's continue on. Yeah, I'm sure people in chat will probably, the Mafia will give you some good recommendations as well. But let's continue on. That is Matic. Now let's go ahead and cover, what was it? Matic and, let's see. Shout out to Wayne C. Said, join Frankie's, it's the best. Shout out to Wayne C. It is not a signals group, though, Bobby. I do want to tell you this. It is not a signals group. If you want signals, yeah, we are not a signals group. I give spoon-fed trade setups, but I will not tell you where to buy and where to sell. It's Jasmine. Thank you, chemistry, bro. In my opinion, listen, if it was as easy as joining a signals group and just making a bunch of money, no one would have a job, right? There would be one trader that was really good, and everyone would just follow that guy's trades. It wouldn't even work. So yeah, I would caution that. But hey, you got to do what's right for you. But hopefully this is all helping. Oh, yeah, Tia. We can take a look at Tia as well. But Jasmine, let's take a look at Jasmine here. Clear the TA. And, yeah, man. This is, let me pull this. Yeah, value area low. Yeah, daily money flow. Yeah, almost all these assets look exactly the same, guys. Money flow coming down the daily, definitely a bearish signal, guys. Could be indicating a bigger drop to come. Doesn't mean we're dropping from here, but what I would be looking at, yeah, let's pull this fib real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, all right, so you got, yeah, I mean, to be honest, the key levels I would look at is if you deviate from this value area low again, I would maybe look for a bounce off that golden pocket. It's already been tested. So maybe we're going to go for the 786. So this would kind of be the next key level I would look at, which is sitting right here at about 0.003924. Let's see. Yeah, so this would kind of be the next significant level that I would look at if you lose this golden pocket. Let me pull up the VRVP real quick. Yeah, I mean, you do have some volume in here. It's not a complete drop-off. But this is your key level. I'll be quite honest with you on Jasmine. If you really want to stay above this high-volume node, you lose this high-volume node, it's not going to be good. You're probably coming down much lower. But this shelf of volume right here, yeah, 0.003921 is going to be an extremely key level. This could be where you wind up getting the bounce. Be kind of a little bit of a freaky drop. But that is kind of where I would look for a bounce, in my opinion. You have the high-volume node. You have the 786 confluence. If you pull this kind of local range right here, yeah, POC, I mean, that's not shocking that that's in line. But, yeah, you have the POC of this local range lining up as well. So, yeah, these are the two levels that I would watch. And then, again, I would be careful. The dailies do not look great on a lot of this, guys. Money flow coming out. This is not a great sign. But you could put in a daily bull div here. Could get invalidated. It's not confirmed yet, but I would look for that daily bull div. If it doesn't invalidate and you wind up putting a lower low in on your price action here, you could look for a bounce back up to the high of your range. But, yeah, there's no real trade I'd be looking at on here, at least as of right now. Yeah, I would be careful. Yeah, I'd be careful. 8-hour VWAP coming back up. 4-hour or 5-hour green dot looking to print. 4-hour looking to print as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to trade this right now. I would let the dust settle. But those are the key levels I'd be watching on Jasmine. Shout out to Bobby. He says, any volatile altcoins? I'm on Coinbase. Jasmine. There you go. Check out Jasmine. I mean, any of the altcoins are probably going to be a little bit more volatile than Bitcoin. Lower the market cap, probably the more volatile it is, as long as there's volume being traded. Shout out to Crypto Ryan, says, much love, Frankie. My 30th birthday is at midnight. Is it possible to check out KDA if you have time? Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Yeah, we could check out KDA real quick. Bybit. Let's see. Happy birthday, by the way, bro. Bing bong. Happy birthday, Ryan. All right, let's see. So, yeah. Kadena. Haven't heard anyone talk about Kadena lately. Kadena used to be like the hottest kid on the block, and now nobody talks about her. Probably getting a golden pocket retracement if I had to guess. There it is, right to the golden pocket. Slipped it a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, just naturally, I'd be looking at the 786 as your next significant level of support. To be honest, I would actually look at this as a zone with this little high-volume node that you have right down here. Yeah, I mean, if you lose this box, you're probably, you have this little gap all the way down to about 82 cents. So, I mean, you don't want to lose the bottom of this blue box. You lose the bottom of this blue, or you lose this wick, you're probably coming to 82 cents. So I would be careful with that. Unless you're looking for a short, then that's a good thing. But, yeah, take a look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the altcoins all look the same. Money flow coming out. I'd be really careful with these. But they're not really in an, we just got to move down today. I don't really typically trade the big moves down unless I am looking for an SFP or something. Typically what I like to do is I like to wait for consolidation, right? I like to wait for that consolidation, form a range, and then I take a high probability trade from the bottom of the range if I'm looking for a long, or a short from the high of the range if I'm looking for a short. And then that way, if we get another big move down, you are short from the top, and if you break out, right, and you come back to the upside, that is, you're basically long from the bottom, right? So that's kind of how I handle things, but I would not be looking to take a trade on this right now. So there you go. And then, yeah, TIA is going to be, let's take a look at TIA really quickly. And let's go ahead and bada boom, bada bing. All right. Take a look at the daily. Thing has been going up and to the right forever. VWAP rolling back on the daily to the upside. 16-hour and 12-hour rolling back up. 8-hour green dot looking to print. 4-hour green dot looking to print. So maybe you get a bounce here. You may be able to get a little bit of a bounce off this 4-hour green dot, but I would be careful of two significant areas for a rejection. And that first zone that I would be cautious of a rejection at would be right here. We're going to fly through this one. Simply put, between 1820 and 1782. And then the next significant area I would look for a rejection would be the full retracement levels. 786 golden pocket sitting right here at about 1958 to 1898, both accompanied by high volume nodes, giving you a little bit of backup resistance, right? So we come up here, could be a something that you look for, maybe bearish CVD or something to find a bigger move to the downside. Maybe you are looking to get sucked towards this high volume node, which will act as a magnet for price. So keep that in mind. But again, with this VWAP coming up, money flow is coming out, but the VWAP is coming up. What does this make me anticipate? This makes me anticipate a lackluster push to the upside before a continued move to the downside, because if this money flow crosses over into the red, remember, money flow indicates the longer-term trend. That means that if this green dot, and there's the green dot. That was not there the whole time, was it? It just printed. So if this gives us a move up, because the money flow is coming down and looking to cross over into the red, we expect a retracement either to this golden pocket 786 or maybe even this golden pocket 786. And I would be looking for short confirmations at both of these zones for a potential move back to the downside. And again, that's based off money flow. And then if you're looking for levels, right, let's say you do get that move, what I would be looking for, pull your volume profile here, I would simply, let me actually pull it from here. Yeah, I would simply be looking at these. Boom, 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 right? You are getting a bounce on your 786, on your value area high, right? So what if you get a bounce here into the rejection zone, and then basically this would not be a bad take profit in case you get another bounce. But if you break below this, now the next likely place for price to go, once you get accepted back into this range, right, from right here, once you get below this value area high and stuck underneath it, it makes it very likely to not only get to the POC because of the way the volume profiles work, but just understanding that high volume nodes act as magnets. Makes this a very high area of high likelihood point of interest, right? And then again, you have to assess the situation. If you don't get the bearish signals here, maybe wait for a bigger push up to the bigger retracement and then simply handle it a very similar way. Either way, once you get to this value area high, you know that if you don't get a bounce and you get up underneath, that's the doorway to lower prices. So this is kind of what would let you know, whether you should hold on to this short position, or if you get down here and you start getting bullish signals, you may want to close it or at least take some profit and move your stop loss to your entry point. And again, these three value area levels are 1684, 1584, and 1533. So there you go. That is what I'd be looking at on Celestia. Remember when we called Celestia like Ethereum a million times? Was that what we called it? I don't even know. Shout out to Bobby O. Thank you for the super chats, bro. I appreciate you. He says, any alts as volatile as QQQ or the SPY? Many alts, much more volatile than all of that. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Trust me, if you start trading altcoins, the volatility is insane, especially if you're used to trading the SPY. All right, guys, let's go ahead and check in on these super chats really quickly. And again, guys, any altcoins that we get super chatted, we'll have to move to tomorrow's stream because we do have to get out of here somewhat soon here. But let's go ahead and cover some of these super chats, and I will take note of the altcoin ones, and then we will move those to tomorrow's stream. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. He said, bro, who did you call this morning? I said, oh, yeah, yo, shout out to Creighton C. He said, I said, smack the Moon Boys, not get in a bus and run them over. I mean, sorry for your loss, Moon Boys. Seriously, I'm being genuine. Still think lower high by next week. Smack the Bears soon. Shout out to Creighton C. And like I said, Bitcoin was not moving, so I said I'd hop on a phone call with them. And then again, like 10 minutes later, Bitcoin dumped. I'm not a market maker, guys, I promise. So shout out to Creighton. Thank you so much for that super chat, bro. I got to answer your Discord DM, by the way. I have not forgotten about you. I will answer you. Shout out to Creighton. And Moon Boot Boy says, Lost my super chat virginity yesterday. It's my 28th. It's now my 28th super chat. I'm officially broke. If you're Leo DiCaprio, can I be your Wolf of Wall Street fat guy? Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. We are taking applications, bro. So shout out to you. You're at the top of that list. And then he's got another super chat. On a serious note, you're a legend, Frankie. P.S. Please check BTC after you check BTC. I got you, bro. We just checked BTC, and we will check it again. And then, hey, Butzinator said, hashtag Punky on BitGet. Now and MXC, Mexi, bruv, smash that like button on this saucy guy. Shout out to Butzinator. Good to see you, bro. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Ponky. I don't know much about it, but apparently it's now on Mexi. So shout out to them, and shout out to anybody who's getting that pump off that likely Mexi pump. And then Creighton C says, POC. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Always answering that POC question correctly. And then... let's see. That's Tony D. We read that. We read this. Let's see. And we're gonna move all the altcoins to tomorrow, guys. Like I said, we're running out of time. And then let's see. We read that. Bada boom. Shout out to Nicholas. This is one we did not read. He said, "When will the market separate from Bitcoin? Because they're now controlling it as they want for the ETF. How does Sol look?" I don't think we took a look at Sol, but we will take a look at Sol tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, listen, Bitcoin, it has been manipulated, right? It's not like they're just starting to manipulate it now. But again, like the ETF getting approved, guys, was pretty bullish, right? Because of the legitimization, or it basically legitimizes crypto in a way in the U.S. But obviously that comes with the evil of letting all that potential extra manipulation into the market. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here. Smash that like button. We're going to spin the wheel tomorrow. Like I said, we got to hop out here. I got to get into that meeting with Tony so we can get this content schedule updated so we can continue to not only give you guys the sauce, but give you guys even more sauce in the new year here in 2024. Even if Bitcoin corrects, we're still shooting straight up. But that's all the time we got for tonight, Mafia. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. If not, I don't know. Have a good night. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. Plus a family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and whoo. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Woo. Watch out, set it up. Bet you I shut it down. Watch out, get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner. Got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm aligned with the winner about the cage. I need all the wins. Yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits. Yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
Shout out to Dark Crash. Forgot to drink some. Forgot to drink some of the alien scam water here, guys. I'm gonna chug this real quick, and then Tony D's waiting on the line. So here we go. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta, Mafia. I love each and every single one of you. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the